You got me now?
You bet. Crystal clear.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, man, before we get going, Jason Peters or Jason Kelce, who's been the best O-lineman in the last 15 years in Philly?
I'm going to go with Jason Kelce. And the reason I say that is for this reason alone, because I don't think it's a talent conversation. I think it's a longevity and Iron Man conversation. Who's been the most available? It's just as simple as that. You know, we can debate their accolades. Jason Peters, as a matter of fact, let's pull it up to make sure, you know, we give him his juice.
He's a 9-time Pro Bowler.
Because Jason Peters is a legend in this game. I want to make sure.
Oh, he's going to Canton.
So Jason Peters, okay, hear me out on this. And also, Jason Peters, for mine people, I think he's a free agent right now, or he's still with Seattle. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was in Seattle. He's 42.
Right, you're right. 42 doing it, right?
Tone, do you know what a GOAT that is? When people are begging you in your 40s to come play offensive line for you, that phone call stops coming at 31, not 42.
Well, for him, it might stop calling at 51 at this point.
No, dude, those are GOAT calls. Hey, please, what does it need? I'd love to have you come play. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll give you $3 million. Can you imagine that?
Okay.
Right. Hey, that's what he did.
He's that good, though. That's the thing.
He's that good.
Right. I think from a pure talent perspective, Jason Peters all day. Pure talent. But when I factor in the consistency in terms of health,
and always being in position,
always being available, the importance of being the center. I gotta go with Jason Kelce. Also, I think Jason Kelce aged better. That's something I think that doesn't get talked about enough. I think Kelce aged a lot better than Peters has.
How about this?
But yeah, I'm still rolling with Kelce.
Get this: there's less guys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which means this: he's a great left tackle. He surely is. He'll go down as one of the top 20 that's ever played. Kelce's in a room of 10.
Exactly. He's a bigger fish in a smaller pond. And it means a lot. It goes a long way.
Sure does.
So yeah. It just goes to show you, because a lot of centers come in and out of this league, and it shows you that it's hard to stand out at that position. It shows you. And I'm rolling with Kelce, you know, to answer your initial question. Health is so important to me in this game, and Jason Kelce has just been so consistent in terms of health. And also, what makes it even more special about both of these players weren't drafted high. As a matter of fact, Jason Peters wasn't drafted at all.
That's insane, unbelievable. Get this: Larry Allen's a 12th round draft choice, and Jason Peters wasn't drafted, and they're arguably two of the best left tackles to ever play. That's unbelievable misses by people in the evaluation, and how hard it is to develop that position, that those two men are that great. We're not talking about good tackles. We're talking about legendary tackles.
Right. And, remind you, Peters came into the league at 22, but he was a former tight end in college. He didn't catch on as a tight end, so he put on weight, became a tackle, and his career started in Buffalo. And then he transitioned to Philly in 2009 and pretty much rode out with us until about 2020. And he's gonna go down as an Eagles Hall of Famer. His numbers are gonna get retired, all those things. He's arguably, he is the best. He's the best left tackle we've ever had. The best left tackle we've ever had. Kelce's the best center. Lane, the best right tackle. As far as the O-line, the 21st century has been kind to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Man, that's incredible that at one time those three men played on the same line together.
Mm-hmm. Listen, we had Trey Thomas and Todd Harrimans, John Runyon,
dear friend, and I think he's a great one.
Like, we've had some legit guys on this offensive line.
Shit, I even like that kid Wisniewski. He wasn't superstar, but I liked him.
Wisniewski doesn't get enough credit. He came in when who went down? Jason Peters went down at left tackle, and Big V had to come in and fill in. Halanotti Vaitai, he had to fill in for him, and Steve Wisniewski filled in for, I want to say, the left guard spot. He was our left guard, Steve Wisniewski. So that left side, people don't talk about it enough. That left side was kind of makeshift, because Peters went down. I think somebody else got hurt too, and Wisniewski was a starting left guard. Sayamalu was the backup at that time. And then Sayamalu became the starter the following season. That right side was solidified, right? Brandon Brooks at right guard, right tackle, Lane Johnson, Kelce at center. Our offensive line, I'm willing to put up the Philadelphia Eagles all-time offensive line against anybody's.
Was that kid's name Watson or what was the kid who got hurt for the Eagles? Watkins, Watson, Wilson?
On the O-line?
Yeah, I forget who he took over for, because I remember that. By the way, that Wisniewski family name is legendary at Penn State.
I heard about that. His name,
like Leo and Steve and Stefan.
Didn't he have a family member that was in the league too?
For Paterno.
Didn't they all come make it to the league in the NFL?
Oh, I played against Steve when he was at Penn State, and I believe that he's a Hall of Fame football player. And Leo played for the Colts, Baltimore Colts, and Stefan played in the NFL and played for you guys. And Steve Wisniewski he was drafted by the Cowboys, believe it or not, and Jimmy. And then they traded him to the Raiders. And he played the majority of his career for the Raiders. But that Wisniewski name is legendary.
Stefan Wisniewski. Excuse me. I'm sorry. His son's name is his nephew's name. His nephew's name is Stefan Wisniewski. That was the guy we had on off, not Steve.
All Penn State guys.
Yeah. Yep. Stefan, Penn State. He was actually, as a matter of fact, I take that back. He didn't fill in for somebody that got hurt in 2017. He was the starter.
Okay.
He was the starter in 2017. Sayamalu was the backup. So yeah, the only person on the O-line that didn't make it was Jason Peters. He got hurt later on in the season. And a lot of people thought we were done. Carson went down. People thought we were done. So you lose your left tackle, you lose your quarterback. You're not supposed to make it to the Super Bowl.
No.
And
lose your left tackle and your MVP candidate quarterback? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, Halanotti Vaitai came in and he was spectacular. Played the game of his life in the Super Bowl. Nick Foles didn't even get touched. And that earned him a huge contract with the Detroit Lions, and he's still there right now collecting a check.
That's fantastic. Well, you guys won a Super Bowl because you had Howie, right? All right.
Oh, man.
Let me go back to when I started the show. Tone, you had a chance. Not you, but so I listened to the press conferences yesterday with Jalen and with Nick. And I was listening, and there was a small little thing in there. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you know. You don't know what you know.
You're going to kill me with that.
He's wrong. Hang on. Go with me here. You don't know what you know, what you know, what you don't know. No. I was like, now look, I must be too old because I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
You never heard that saying before? You don't know what you don't know?
But I've heard it, but I have never known what it means. But you don't know what you know, what you know, what you know. I know you don't know, but I know. And I'm like, okay, to me, it sounds like a really freaky way of not answering a question.
And I'm glad.
This. Well, why wouldn't you endorse your coach? Dude, you're not asking somebody.
I'm so glad we're here.
Falling on a toothpick.
I'm glad we're here.
Wait, so here, get it. So AJ, we improvised. Me and Hertz improvised the play. Then I get, you don't know what you know, what you know. And I'm like, hang on here now. I'm not. And you see, you got to remember, Tone, I want to set the table for you on this before you answer this.
Right.
There's a depth chart. When you walk into your locker room every day, it's got your name listed here. And especially in training camp, you see it. And let me tell you what players do. When you're sitting in a team meeting room, this is how freaky we are. This is how we read everything. That's why the scrubbing of the Instagram and all that, it matters a little bit, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
So our coaches would always do this. Jerome Stubbs, Hawkins, Derwin, Sileo. Damn, I'm fourth. You got to go out and play harder. A couple weeks go by. Jerome Stubbs, Hawkins, Sileo. Okay, moved up. Couple of you look at the depth chart, you see yourself go up. All right. Then all of a sudden you're playing really well. Jerome, Sileo, Stubbs, and you're like, well, I ain't going to get ahead of the other guy.
Right.
So I'm pretty good where I'm at right there, right? I'm good right there. Couple times I heard the name first, not very many, but my coach and all coaches, insight in mind, and all those little things that the players see and all those little things that they hear, who they talk about, who they mention first, who they bring up. Hey, look, when we're throwing that route out there, AJ, see, Devontae's probably sitting there going, well, I'm the number 2 guy right now. So they're going to design plays to get him open first, and I'll be the second option. I'll be the Robin here until my time comes. That's how all of that goes into place here.
Right.
So everything you hear in the locker room matters to players. It just matters. Mm-hmm. So when you hear AJ go, hey, yeah, me and Hurts improvised. Then I hear Hurts going to him, you don't know what you don't know, and then this and that. And I go, man, he had every opportunity to validate what AJ Brown said, and he wouldn't go there. He wouldn't publicly endorse Nick.
Right.
I think that if he would have, I think he has a problem with Nick. And I think there's something happened after that Buffalo game, or maybe after the Niner game in that locker room, that Jalen Hurts has lost confidence in Nick, not as a human, but as his head coach. Yeah. And everyone in that locker room sees it. And that's why when you saw that New York game, they didn't want to play the game before the game even started. It just seems that, why didn't he fall on a toothpick for him?
I've been talking about this over the past couple of weeks. You know, you haven't really seen too many people go out on a limb for Nick Sirianni. They've been towing the line. The only person we've seen go above and beyond and praise Nick Sirianni in some fashion was AJ Brown in that press conference. You know, talking about how loyal he is and how he takes up for the players and all that kind of stuff. But not much about how good of a coach he is and his impact on what they're doing. Jalen Hurts doesn't really give much in the first place, but you would think in a time like this, when everyone is questioning your head coach, if there's any time to instill confidence in your coach, or to at least let the world know, that this is your guy, now would be the time. If he felt the need to go above and beyond for Nick Sirianni, he would. And my point in saying that is, I don't think he feels the need to go above and beyond for Nick Sirianni. I don't think that's the person he wants to go out on a limb for. You
think he's distancing himself?
I would. Okay, if I'm a quarterback under Nick Sirianni's leadership, how couldn't I begin to distance myself?
You know, he makes AJ look like a liar now.
Sirianni or Hurts?
Hurts makes AJ look like a liar. And he never said it. You don't know what you don't know what you know. That's not an answer.
That's not his answer. And remember, I'm sure AJ Brown and Sirianni had this conversation. So
why couldn't you answer your buddy? He was asked a question about the Seattle play.
Right.
That was brought up by AJ. He didn't. He left AJ out because to me, you could also interpret it. AJ made that up to cover for his coach. Now you got to think of this one too.
Now at that point, both of them lying. So somebody lying and somebody telling the truth.
Yo, wait a minute now. AJ could really like Nick and management because why? They did give him the bag. Mm-hmm. And so maybe Jalen Hurts went like this. That ain't what happened, and I'm not endorsing that.
Well, here's the thing.
Someone's lying.
2 people
Nick or
endorsed it,
AJ.
though. But remember, the timeline matters. Nick came out first, and remember, he came up with that whole we tried to get the pass interference, all that BS, right? Then AJ came out afterwards and said, "Look, I don't know why Nick said that. What really happened was we improvised. You know, he always tries to take up for us. You know, we got to play better." So, boom. At that point, AJ Brown says that we improvised. Following that, Nick Sirianni was then asked to confirm what AJ said. Remember, Nick Sirianni had another press conference after that, and he said, "Yeah, you know, I give Jalen and those guys a lot of autonomy at the line of scrimmage." Remember, you brought it up earlier that they said that they give Jalen Hurts a lot of autonomy at the line of scrimmage, and then you questioned saying, "Well, I don't see that."
I don't. Not when I watch the games, I don't see it.
Right. So then now, because Sirianni confirmed it, AJ Brown confirmed it already. What else needs to be said after that? From Hurts, at least.
That it was true.
But Sirianni said it was true. AJ said it was true. That's 2 people.
But Hurts didn't. Hurts never said that Seattle play was true.
He never says anything is true or false.
Oh, dude, it's the littlest thing on the planet. It's a toothpick.
But
you
again,
can go like this. Yeah,
but you said it yourself. But you said
all
it
he
yourself.
had to say was this. Yeah, that's kind of what happened. They would have moved on.
But
Instead,
that goes.
You don't know what you know. You don't know what. And I'm going.
But what does that do?
That's not an answer. That's a lawyer's answer.
That goes against your philosophy of you don't have to give them anything.
Wait a second here. Why this whole Broadway play then?
Who's
lie by Nick? The cover by AJ, is it true or not? Jalen going at the end, closing up the shop and keeping it even more open. You don't know what you don't know. And I'm going, this thing is like children in a sandbox.
What we're experiencing right now.
Leadership in this. Why? This play didn't exist. We're debating a play that never existed, I think.
What do you think happened?
I'm a little. Hey,
be honest. What do you think happened? Do you think they improvised, or do you think
AJ is? I think AJ is telling the truth, and I think that Jalen Hurts does not want to endorse Nick Sirianni as his head coach,
and that's the root of it.
He's the worst head coach he's ever had.
Probably so, and that's
look at the list of the names.
I mean, you're right. No, I feel you. And that's the real conversation, right? Why hasn't he spoken about the play, but why hasn't he gone out and defended his coach? That's the real conversation. Because we're getting somewhere, Sills. Has he ever? You've never really seen Jalen, in my opinion, based on what I've read and seen, I've never really seen Jalen go above and beyond to endorse Sirianni. I've heard him endorse Steichen plenty of times. Last year, he's to talk about. He said, "Yeah, me and Sean, you know, or Shane. He always called him Shane. Me and Shane, you know, it was always Shane. You know, never Steichen. Just always Shane."
I wonder what that game was. That you went like this and you said something that was back then didn't make sense, but now you kind of put this in the jigsaw puzzle. When he walked off the field, this is why we paid you. This is why we.
He said, "It's why we trust you." He said that's why he said that's why I trust you at fourth and 15. That's why I trust you. Jalen looked at him and said, "You should."
That's a backhanded slap back at Nick saying you don't though.
I've had that kind of exchange before.
I think that guy, when someone says shit like that to me,
yeah,
and you remember something, Tone? It's the response.
Mm-hmm. It's the response.
Do you know that when you're getting your interview and you're being interviewed at the combines, they're asking you questions to see what your responses are, not what and how you're emotionally going to respond to those. They're not looking for right or wrong. They're looking how emotional you get. Like and again, some of them are the most idiotic questions like, when Jeff Ireland asked Des Bryant if his mother was a whore.
Yeah, that was
That's a cult. You're going way over the line with that. However, Des handled it with as much class as you possibly could. And he kind of laughed it off. And that thing got public because guess what? He told the agent that he was asked that, and the agent went berserk on Ireland for asking that because it's a racially motivated question, in my opinion. You wouldn't ask a white kid
you wouldn't ask anybody else that question. You wouldn't ask a white kid that question.
You're asking a black kid if his mother's a hooker. Have you ever asked a white kid if his mother's a whore? It's such a racist question.
Yeah, and that was just nasty work.
I think it was Rosenhaus. He went fucking nuts on it.
Man, Drew is cold-blooded.
Me and him don't have a lot in common, but he will go in your ass. He's not afraid, and he got blasted. I blasted him. I was on the air in Miami at the time. So wait a minute here. So Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, his actions in the locker room, the team around him, what was the game that he said after the game? Is it Seattle? Man, we got to be more focused.
It was Seattle. It was Seattle. He said we need more commitment.
Then they made him on Wednesday clarify
and then he cleaned it up. Yeah,
he cleaned it up for Nick. And so, but you know what he never did? He didn't clean it up though and endorse Nick.
Right, he cleaned it up for his teammates.
Yeah, he didn't clean it up. You know what he could have said? Hey, if anybody in here is taking anything out of this that I'm talking about Nick and the staff, that's not true. He didn't say anything like, he's never directly went like this. We got the best coaching staff in the NFL.
Yeah, or even went as far as to say, I have full confidence in this staff. I have full confidence in Brian and all those guys. Like he look, I can't dictate what another man says, but I pay attention to what's not being said. We have 18 weeks of football we have 18 weeks of press conferences and conversations and interviews and football games to sift through. And I do not recall Jalen Hurts really endorsing Nick Sirianni. I don't. And if someone can pull it, please put it on Twitter, tag me, whatever you got to do. But I can't recall when I've heard him give glowing reviews about his head coach. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember last year, like you say now, when it came to Shane, I remember that how good the game plan was and everything. He brought his name up a lot. I haven't even heard him bring up Brian Johnson's name.
Man, the moment that Super Bowl went down the way it did, that was my first moment questioning. Well, let me not say first moment, but that was one of the official moments where I said to myself, I don't know if this head coach can get you over the top. After the Super Bowl loss, I said to myself, I don't know if he's the guy to get you over the top because he failed key indicators, in my opinion. For me, key performance indicators. There were certain key performance indicators that he failed at that Doug Peterson passed that. Now, is it unfair for me to compare him to the previous Eagles head coach? No. You want to know why? Because at the end of the day, they're both playing at Howie sandbox. And guess what? One person was able to get it done, and why couldn't you? You had more talent. You know what I mean? You came close. You had it in the bag. You had the lead. You weren't really in the shootout. So I look at the I look at the situation as Nick Sirianni did not have, in my opinion, in their Super Bowl, he didn't have the instincts necessary to read what was going on in real time. I felt like he panicked. The defense coordinator panicked. There were just moments where panic was clearly involved. So I've looked at him sideways ever since.
Well, tell me if you don't think this coincides with all this now. Maybe Jalen had more of a problem than what's been reported with the demotion of Desai and not backing him.
Here's
and
the
lost
thing.
Trust in him.
Stay there.
That
let's think about who he is.
That's not a trustworthy coaching staff because just because you have a little adversity, Tone, when you judge people in adversity. You don't judge them when you're riding high and when things are going great.
Exactly. You know what? Hear me out on this. Above all else, to me, if you were to ask me what's Jalen Hurts' #1 priority when it comes to organization, I would tell you stability. The reason I say that is because one thing that he's always brought up throughout his career is how he hasn't had the same offensive coordinator 2 years in a row since high school. He finally got that with Shane Steichen back-to-back years, and we saw the performance that he provided. He gets a new coordinator this year. Okay, we're still seeing the residual growth from 2022 and 2023, but now we're seeing some setbacks, turnovers. So when you, like you said, demote a guy like Sean Desai, not his side of the ball, but still a coach in the building, a main coach at that, when you demote him in such a way that you've done, and you're seeing how things are playing out thus far, it appears as a panic move. And the timing of it, the week 15, week 16, really?
But it
That's when
doesn't make sense either,
so
because the success he has and the amount of wins he had this year against quality teams versus, like you said, Tone, okay, I don't know if you would have been Jim Johnson beating the Cowboys and the Niners at that moment. But then when you put someone in there and you lose, like you said, to the Cardinals and the Giants, I mean, you've made matters worse. And to me, Hurts sees that. The whole team sees that. I don't think they're pissed off losing to the Cowboys and the Niners. I think they're disappointed. I think they're aggravated and dejected over what's happened the last 2 weeks.
Panic. I'm with you 100%. And I think that's the part that Jalen Hurts and this roster, they're having a hard time respecting. They sense the panic from leadership. They sense it. How can you go to war with somebody who's panicking?
Can't.
How can you go to war with somebody that? How can you go to war with somebody that got a itchy trigger finger? I can't do my job with you. You're unreliable. You're unstable. I think Jalen Hurts prioritizes stability in his life. If you ask me, I don't know him, but if I had to guess, that seems important to him.
Son, I remember that. I remember that when Jalen Hurts smacked Nick Sirianni's hand down when he was bragging about winning to the crowd. I remember that.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. That just you just jogged my memory. I remember that. That was in the Super Bowl.
He's so unprofessional.
In hindsight, he's very unprofessional. When you really think about other head coaches and how he carries it.
How about the way he handled himself in Kansas City? Listen,
when you're winning, people roll with everything. But when you're not when you're not flying as high as you are, people start to really look at you, for people just read you now for what it is. And when you really think about it, he has unprofessional tendencies. I don't think he was ready to be a head coach.
No. Mentally.
I don't think he was ready.
No, he's not.
He's too emotional.
Too much too soon.
Too much too soon.
I'm going to play a game with you here.
All right, let's do it. We got some time. Let's have some fun.
Replace, stay, address, depth. And I'll explain as we go on here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the job your legendary general manager has to do in the offseason here. And I'm going to start on the offensive side. Jalen Hurts. And I'm going to not go coaching first. I'm just going to go personnel. Not touching anything with him. I would like to have a veteran quarterback behind him.
Yes.
That would help him.
I believe in
talk to on the sidelines, like JAKIB said.
I believe in that. I believe in having a veteran quarterback behind my a legit veteran. Not
even
some guy
a
like
veteran backup quarterback that knows the role, that's been in the league a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Swift, you're going to have to replace. Get that in your minds, Eagle fans. He's out.
Yep.
Do you go into draft, free agency, or trade?
For the running back?
Yeah.
I'll draft one. I'll draft the running back.
He better be a good blocking back. He better know how to pick up blitzes. To me, I would want a veteran back that knew how to pick up blitzing.
What's
You
the
suck
running
out
back market right
loud.
now?
What? I don't want a 1,500-yard back, Tone. I want a guy who can protect and pass protect.
You know, a lot of these young guys in the league, you know, they may not be the first or second or third rounders, but there are some good running backs.
The guy in Los Angeles with the Rams, he wasn't a 1, was he?
No, but I also found out, by the way, he's not even a rookie this year. He's a second-year player. I found out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think Jason Cole said that yesterday. But yeah, I would draft the guy. But again, you know, you evaluate him, right? Can he pass block? Period. Can he block? And then, you know, you go from there because they clearly don't want to they clearly don't want to spend the money at the position. And now that begs the question: what does the running back free agent market look like right now? Because I'm not trading for one. That's definitely I'm not giving up assets just to get a running back. I'm not doing that.
No, and the number one thing, I want a pass protecting running back that could be effective for me. He doesn't have to be a superstar.
Right.
But to me, what hurt me more this year, hey, Swiss numbers were good, but the fact that no one could pass pro back there killed them in turnovers and hurt him in hits, in sacks, which rushed the pass, which rushed the passing game. They were piss poor in pass protection, and the O-line took it in the ass because of the running back room. They got to do a better job here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the running back market right now, the free agent market that's coming up. I'm seeing Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, Cordell Patterson, Gus Edwards, Ezekiel Elliott, Devin Singletary, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Swift, Deontay Foreman, Boston Scott, Damian Harris. Oh, I would like Damian Harris in Philly. I would like that. I would like.
I'm going in the draft, like you said.
See, told you.
Yeah,
told you.
I don't want any of them guys.
I don't want none of them. So
I'm good with AJ and Devontae.
Mm-hmm.
The third wide receiver, I'm drafting. Wait a minute.
No. I was actually going to go veteran there.
Yeah, let's go veteran because he sucks at wide receiver. So let's get a veteran there. But I don't want an old man.
No, not an old man. Somebody who's flirting with their 30s, but they're not 30 yet.
I'd love that Hunter Renfrow in that spot.
He would be fun in that offense. He would work perfectly, actually. So right now, the free agent wide receivers this offseason are Mike Evans, Odell Beckham Jr., Curtis Samuel, Tyler Boyd. I would love Tyler Boyd in Philly.
How about Adam Thielen? Is he in there?
No, okay. I don't see him.
He's in Carolina, I think.
Yeah, I think they gave him a 2-year deal or something.
They did.
You know who I like? I like that kid Braxton Berrios.
Oh, the Miami kid.
He he plays for the Dolphins. Yep.
No, it was a Hurricane too. Yeah, okay, I like him. He'd fit. Plus, you could put him on special teams.
Yes, exactly.
He's a special teams guy too.
Exactly. So, you know, again, like in the slot, I wouldn't mind Tyler Boyd, but he might command a lot of money. So obviously not. I like Braxton Berrios. Randall Cobb is too old. Marquise Brown can't stay healthy. Calvin Ridley is going to be a free agent, but he'll get a good amount of money. Yeah, you might draft one. You might draft him, but there's still some guys here that you can play around with. But overall, though, I think I would go free agent for that position slot.
Okay, so tight end. Here's what I'm going to do here. We need help here.
You need to draft the guy. They need to draft the guy somewhere in the 4th or 5th round. They need to draft the guy.
I don't know, man. I may go 3rd and down because I need help here. Because
see, I'm trying to go defense on those first 3 picks.
I'm going to get there, but I'm going to say this to you. You can't count on Goddard anymore. I'm tired of it. He's got to prove to me he could play 17 ball games, dude. Period. He just can't do it. And their propensity to get the football to him, he's a fine ball player when healthy, and he's missed 25% of his career. I don't know. Can you really build an offensive game plan and rely on a position where a guy misses 25% of the season? and he's done that for the last 6 years. Come on, man. I mean, they need help at that position. I like Mulata. I like Dickerson. They've got Kelce in the future there with Juergens. They're going to have to address the right guard position.
Yes.
Is it Steen? We'll see, but they need to get another guard there.
I wouldn't be surprised if they signed another veteran and let Steen compete with them for right guard and see if Steen can beat him out. You know what I mean?
Right. I like that.
Kind of stoke that fire a little bit.
Lane, I'm preparing for the next guy.
You got to. I wouldn't be surprised if they draft the tackle now and groom him. Maybe somewhere in the third or fourth round they draft the tackle or something. I wouldn't be surprised. They're good for that. And then also the NFL has proven that some of the best offensive linemen we've ever seen, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, undrafted, some of the best ones we've ever seen.
You just mentioned 2 of them. That one was at 12th and the other one wasn't even drafted.
Exactly. Kelce was in the 6th round. So, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Here's the defense. We're doing something here called replace, stay, address, depth. Brandon Graham, he's out.
Yeah, I don't think he's back.
And by the way, this is nothing personal. He's out. I need something more, and he's not. It's just not happening. So the left defensive end has to be replaced. The left defensive tackle, Jordan Davis. I'm sorry, but I need help. I'm not replacing him.
You're not replacing him, but you need another.
I need help.
They need more body in the DT room. Period.
Actually,
they should have never
draft him there. I want a veteran there.
In my opinion, they should have never got rid of Kentavious Street. Howie Roseman got rid of 2 depth pieces on the D line. He got rid of Derek Barnett on the edge, and then he moved on from Kentavious Street, a D tackle. Why would you do that? I didn't like those moves. Since when do we take away from our trenches to make any move? Not really like us. He kind of showed his ass this season. I didn't like
it. Milton stays in the rotation with us. I'm good with him, but they need help at that left defensive tackle position. And I would say this to you at right DT with Fletcher and Jalen Carter. They've got a nice future, in my opinion, there. Fletcher, though, Jalen Carter's got to overtake him in playing time and in productivity next year, or we're going to have a problem here a little bit. And I think he can, and I think he will. But again, Fletcher Cox can't be your best D tackle at 33. He just can't when you have 2 first-rounders that are 21 years old. You cannot have that because you're not quite frankly, in 2023, you're going to accept the fact you downgraded. The money's going to pull it even, but the production has pulled it back down a little. So you've got to have a balancing act here a little bit, and they don't have enough depth there. Josh Sweat, he needs help.
He needs help. He needs help for sure.
They need more depth. So get this, your whole entire front 4. Graham's out. You need more bodies at left defensive tackle. You need more production at Carter. Fletcher, hang in there. Josh Sweat, they need another edge rusher. So you theoretically either have to get veteran leadership, and they do a very good job. So I would be okay with them drafting tackles because they've been pretty good with them. Mm-hmm. But what they also have to do is a come to Jesus conversation with Jordan Davis on preparation for the upcoming NFL season, because next year, if you're still fat, we have a problem.
Yeah, you're right. They need more than anything. They need some homegrown talent. They need to really hit in this draft. Last year's draft class has to start hitting. You know what I mean? A lot of those guys, so far over the past few years, our draft classes have had a redshirt year. Not anymore. Now, your draft picks on defense have to hit. Whoever you draft in the first, second, or third rounds, they had to be active. Those guys have to be contributors. Either they're competing for a rotational role, whatever it may be. Those guys have to contribute. This defense is going to need a complete overhaul from top to bottom.
The Will linebacker and the Mike linebacker, Zach Cunningham and Shaq Leonard, have to be replaced. And you not only need starters, but you also need depth. And you have shown a propensity not to be able to do it in the draft. So you have to spend money here if you're going to be productive here, because either that, you know, getting lucky with TJ and finding him and signing him.
Rare. It's a rare feat.
You know what? Get this. You had a linebacker that you theoretically turned into a third-round pick that was undrafted, and you let him go for nothing, for $1.5 million. He was making $1.5 million.
So right now,
and then when he came back and went like this, you see, this is what happened with the Eagles in the offseason. They went like this. I don't think there's going to be a big market for him. Came back and there was a $6.5 million offer on the table from Chicago. Blew their doors off. You know what they did? They didn't estimate the market right on him.
Yeah.
They got the car sold right out from under them on their own lot.
The current free agent market for the inside linebacker, for the Mike, as of right now, who's going to be a free agent in 2024, you have Devin White, Josie Jewell, who played for Denver, Bobby Wagner, Jordan Hicks, Levante David.
All big money guys.
Devin Bush, Patrick Queen,
All
Denzel Perriman, Oren Burks, Tyler Matakovich out of Buffalo, Terrell Dotson, Buffalo. Buffalo has a lot of players coming up right now at linebacker. They have, who else? Zach Cunningham's going to be a free agent. Ezekiel Turner out of Arizona, Neville Hewitt, Houston, Shaquille Leonard, Willie Gay Jr., KC. I wouldn't mind if the Eagles went after Willie Gay Jr. Young guy. Depends how pricey he is. But nonetheless, Blake Martinez for the Pittsburgh, Gerard Davis, New York Giants, Jacob Phillips, Dylan Cole. It's a lot of names. A lot of them are big money guys. And a lot of these guys that are big money are 29 and up. Devin White is probably one of the most sought after guys on this list. Easily. They're not going to pay him. They're not going to pay him $20 million.
No, Reddick, I'm good. Nolan Smith. Either show me this coming year or I'm going to draft a guy in the 3rd round or 4th round to push your ass because you did nothing for me this year. This is what I'm going to do with Bradbury. I'm going to go to Bradbury in the offseason, and I'm going to go, this whole year was catastrophic for all of us, especially for you. So what I'm going to do is this. I want to restructure your contract. I'll give you more money up front. I want to lower the cap hit. And if you don't restructure it, we're going to take the cap hit and we're going to fire you.
Flat out. Simple as that. I ain't got nothing better to say than that. Take the restructure or carry your bags out.
Right, because this is what I'll do right here with you right now. If you restructure the contract, it'll give us a chance. And hey, you come back, we have another year, we'll have another conversation here, man. It's all good. But what I want to do, and plus, it's not that I'm not paying you. I want to give you some money up front here, but I got to lower that cap because your cap hit right now. You need to help in restructuring the team, but I want to give you this option here. And if you don't want to do this, I'm willing to take the cap hit because the ability that you showed this past season on the field,
he has no leverage.
Has been detrimental and catastrophic to the success of our team. And quite frankly, know this. You will not get the money in the restructure that I'm willing to pay you
on the market.
The open market.
You will not.
That season you just had. Use the shitty season against him by doing this. You think you're getting $9 million a year in the open market for the season that you just put together for $14 million with 1 interception? You think you're getting $9 million? No one will give that to you, son. You'll be lucky to get that. I'm going to eat the thing. Or I'll tell you what, I'll give you 9, restructure to 14.5, and we can go from there and we give you the money up front and we'll go from there on that. Because if not that, you're out.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Use his shitty season against him.
You have to, because there's no way you can justify paying him what you're already paying him. You got to restructure it, or you take the cap hit and move on from him. You can't afford to keep a guy like that around at that price tag, and he produced the way he did or like thereof.
Take that.
He has no leverage, like you said. The biggest point you made is that you will not see that money on the open market. You will not.
I
And
figured out how to get out from it.
and that's how you get out from it. Now, we don't get paid to do that, though. I would hope Howie Roseman, as shrewd as he is, he would know what to say in that moment.
Kevin Byard.
He's already on the he's on the price tag for next year. So let's see what we're working with from a contract standpoint. Because you got to get younger there. I'm drafting the safety, by the way. I'm definitely drafting the safety. So Kevin Byard is on the hook in 2024 for a $9.6 million base salary. They're not paying that. $9.6 million in base.
Hey, Kevin, I'd like to have a conversation with you. Come on in here for a second. This is what we're going to do. We're going to restructure your contract, and I'm going to take your contract down to $5 million. And I want to restructure the 4.5. We'll give you money up front again, too. And here's what we're planning on doing here. We'd love to have you come back because we like your leadership, but we're also going to draft a guy because we need depth and we need more bodies in there. But I need to be able to have some leverage in building this defense back up. Do you want to do it or not? And know this. If you think you're getting $9 million, if you go out on the open market right now, on the shitty season that you just put up being on the 31st worst offense or defensive pass coverage defense, and you think you're part of the problem too, but we want you. So what we're going to do is work with you. Work with it or not. I would be as an asshole as you could possibly be because this is a sense of urgency time here, Tone.
Listen to
this.
this.
Not a time where you're sitting there having feelings hurt. And I would sit there and go like this to him. It's up to you, son. You're never going to get that money in the open market.
And here's the thing, too, right? Kevin Byard really doesn't have any leverage in 2024 because after all that you said, his dead cap hit is $711,000. They will cut him if they want to. His dead cap hit is nothing. His dead cap hit is less than Brock Purdy's salary. So they can afford to they can afford, and guess what? His actual cap hit, if they keep him, $14.2 million. And his dead cap hit is less than Brock Purdy's salary. So if he wants to stay here, he'll play ball, or they'll just cut him and take the cap hit. It's less than $1 million.
You know what I'm going to do with your roster spot? I'm going to sign a backup punter. Okay, a backup punter. Because a backup punter is going to be the same money that you're going to have if I have to cut you. And I'm going to be a dick like this here. This Reed Blankenship thing here. He needs help.
Yeah.
And I mean by help, I mean, it just seems to me he missed games. When I look at the number, he didn't miss that many games.
Right. That's what I said. I said to Rob earlier, I said, if you look at Reed Blankenship, he played in 15 games.
Was he in and out of games though?
Yeah. Yeah. Because by the stat sheet, he only missed 2. But it felt like he missed more than that. But like you just said, there were games where he was kind of in and out.
I have no interest in bringing Darius Slay back.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to move on from him. This is the best Darius Slay you're going to have. I would try to trade him if for anything that you can get.
33 years old. I
mean, if you cut him, then you got some other issues. Let's find out what the dead cap is. Dead cap hit is. So
they lowered
Darius Slay's dead cap hit. I don't know. This is something they got to work out. So he will be an unrestricted free agent in 2026. But as of right now, the Eagles are on the hook for a $35 million dead cap hit if they decide to cut him. $35 million.
I have to work that and keep him.
Got to figure that out.
It's too high.
Way too high.
It's too high when you have so many more places where because the other corner. See, or you either have to gamble and say, which guy are you going to want back, and which guy is harder to move and restructure? Slay, you're working with Rosenhaus.
Bradbury's
He's never
easy
going to make that money in the open market. However, he's kind of got the Eagles because of the dead cap money of 35. That's a ton. So I can't.
That's the Carson Wentz number. You know that, right?
Yeah, I can't. I'm gonna dump Bradbury and keep Slay and restructure. I'm gonna restructure Slay's contract again to get that number down so that I can move off of him for sure next year, the following year in 26.
In 2024, in 2024, James Bradbury's dead cap hit is $17.2 million. They'll eat that if they had to.
You got to keep Slay.
You got to keep him based off that number.
Yeah.
Unless Howie pulls a rabbit out of his hat, you got to keep him.
You got to keep Slay.
Financially, you have to.
$35 million keeps you in the room, because even if you restructure that deal, what's the salary? What's the base?
Darius Slay's base salary in 2024 is $1.2 million.
What was the bonus they gave him? Because they gave him a bag. So
the 2024 base salary, $1.2 million. The signing bonus was $2 million. It also has a $2.3 million option and a $5.3 million restructure with a $10.9 million cap hit and a $35 million dead cap hit. So I think they gave him, in yearly cash, it says $13.1 million.
That's a ton of Skittles there, my friend.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, Tone, you want to get a little happy here?
Oh yeah, you got to bring on the Hooters girls, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Let's have some fun.
You know that I've been associated with these folks for 40 years.
Right. They just celebrated the 40-year anniversary, right?
40th anniversary. And Big Sills used to have his own stool sitting at the original Hooters in Clearwater. I had right there, Bob Passwater and Ed Drotsky, the original founders, and Denise Williams. Right. These guys would give me. I had a card that was called Lifetime All You Can Eat Hooters. I used to eat the grouper sandwich. On to me. It was absolutely great. So last week we were talking to our friends in Rhode Island. Now we're going to go to Princeton, New Jersey.
Okay.
And we're going to go to Teresa. We're there. And I think Teresa's got a friend with her right now.
All right, let's do it.
And don't forget,